How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today. As now we know, Kansas City Chiefs football is back. Ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited wait before training camp is now over. The Chiefs will be playing football from now until mid-August for the entirety of training camp as they gear up, getting ready to get back at it against the best of the best that the NFL has to offer in the 2025 campaign. I, for one, am super excited, and what a good way to start off the training camp session for the boys. You've had a lot of things to see on practice one, and going into the remainder of the week, only more positive things are going to come out of this. But today, we're going to be talking about something that we haven't yet talked about on this channel or in this podcast, and it is dissecting what could potentially be the starting offensive line against the Los Angeles Chargers in Sao Paulo, Brazil, for week one of the 2025 campaign for the Kansas City Chiefs. And that we might have just seen it in the first practice of training camp. As we know, the first training camp practice lined up with Josh Simmons, rookie Josh Simmons out of Ohio State at left tackle. You have Kingsley Suamataia lining up at left guard. And as I told you, I'm going to break down each of these guys' situation. So just sit in here for that. Creed Humphrey, of course, manning center. The newly extended Trey Smith at right guard. And new Kansas City Chiefs acquisition, free agent offensive lineman in Jalen Moore. See, that was the first team of the offensive line that took the field for the Kansas City Chiefs in practice, which could only bode well moving forward throughout training camp as well as into the new season, especially since the offensive line is the biggest thing to watch. The biggest area to watch this offensive line is for the Kansas City Chiefs for the remainder of training camp. So let's dive into all of that. Let's start off with the obvious choice in rookie Josh Simmons. As we know, he fell to the Kansas City Chiefs because of his injury. And we know that the NFL thought highly of him. Other teams thought highly of him. So much so that it was almost shocking to see him fall all the way down to the Kansas City Chiefs. And then when they saw him still on the big board at 32nd overall, they had nothing more to do other than call him up and say, hey, buddy, you're the new member of the Kansas City Chiefs. Regardless of injury, he's progressed super well. As we know, he got sidelined for the remainder of his senior year with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, he's been having recovery this offseason. He works hard, so much that he got into the starting offensive line for the first practice of his new team. Granted, things could have worked out perfectly for Simmons because of Jawan Taylor's injury. He's going to start off on the PUP, but that is a good sign for not only the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line, but also for Josh Simmons. Andy Reid said that he is loving what he's seeing from Josh Simmons. Patrick Mahomes is loving what he's seeing from Josh Simmons. Trey Smith, earlier on his press conference following the first practice, he discussed all the things that he's looking forward to in helping Josh Simmons grow. Simmons, when he's healthy, we've seen it at the collegiate level that he can be a beast. And so long as he's healthy, that left tackle spot could greatly be him, depending on how long Taylor is out. Because going into this training camp, we could have sworn, all of us put our money on seeing the left tackle competition be held between Simmons and Jalen Moore. But Jalen Moore, the veteran that he is in the NFL, that he knows that he just needs to find a spot on the offensive line to live up to that paycheck that he's going to be getting. The Kansas City Chiefs signed him to a 2-year deal worth $30 million. He is going to start off at right tackle. That's at least where he started off in the first practice. Sure, it's not the left tackle position, but when you look at on paper, the way that it's set up, if you got Josh Simmons as your left tackle and you have Jalen Moore as your right tackle, your everyday guys, a free agent signing that they brought in very highly, and a prospect they are hoping can shoot himself to the moon, that is perfect. It's perfect. I'm excited to see what Jalen Moore can do with the opportunity. I think that throughout training camp, it will bode well for him, not only to find his role in this system, but, show the organization, hey, I don't care where you put me, but when you put me on the field, I'm going to give you my best. And I am fully looking forward to Jalen Moore and Josh Simmons. Should they still be battling at the left tackle position? Who knows? Maybe when Taylor returns, we will find that out. But moving on into Kingsley Suamataia at that left guard position, Andy Reid told us that he would be competing with Mike Caliendo for that position. Given that Kingsley Suamataia is a former second-round pick last year who was moved all around the offensive line and still couldn't find a spot, this is a good sign that his work throughout mandatory minicamp and throughout the offseason, not even on the football field, is paying off already in week one, in the first practice for the Kansas City Chiefs. If he remains this way, remains solid, and there is that competition between him and Caliendo, there could be a very strong chance that he is going to be the left guard for the Kansas City Chiefs in week one against the Los Angeles Chargers. As we know, Creed Humphrey, he's got that center position locked down. Trey Smith, I know you guys have heard me talk about it. I love that signing. And of the extension, that is, of the offensive line being set up for the first team of the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs in training camp, knowing that Trey Smith is going to be here for the foreseeable future next to Creed Humphrey, hopefully molding Josh Simmons. The high ceiling is still there for Kingsley Suamataia. The growth is eminent in Jalen Moore. The offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think that what they threw out there for their first practice could very well be the offensive line protecting Patrick Mahomes when the Chiefs take on the Chargers in week one. That being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to follow me over on X at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day, and we will be continuing on with training camp coverage. You're not going to want to miss it. Kansas City Chiefs on SI is the place to get your news. You don't want to follow me on X, you can follow us at KC Chiefs on SI, formerly Twitter. All of our stuff gets posted. You're not going to want to miss it. But that being said, can't wait for more Kansas City Chiefs training camp action. As always, I'm Dominic Minchella, Chiefs Kingdom. Be kind to one another, and I'll see you tomorrow.